next cardinality relationship is one-to-many, and I would say one-to-many is the most common cardinality relationship. Much more common than one-to-one, and much more common to many-to-many. So again, it could be unidirectional or it could be bidirectional. Now, the table model could be either using join table, which is a default. So when you're not using any annotation, it's using join table as a default. Or if you're using annotation, you can specify that you want to use a foreign key column. Okay, so you can actually see both. So this is the one-to-many bidirectional foreign key based. So in order to specify that you want to use a foreign key based one-to-many relationship, you're going to use a one-to-many annotation like this. And then you are going to use many-to-one on the many side. So many side is in fact the always owner in one-to-many relationship, because many side is the one that contains foreign key column. So the owner of the relationship is always the many side, because that's the one that's a foreign key column. Okay? So in order to specify, in order to use a foreign key column, then you're going to actually use one-to-many annotation and many-to annotation, and then that basically specify you want to use the foreign key column based scheme on the database. And also you specify map by to indicate that you are in fact the inverse, the owner. Okay? Inverse owner. We can actually try to remove map by in the in one-to-many case, see whether that makes any difference or not. In one-to-many, the many case is always the owner anyway, so this is automatically inverse owner. But so we'll see whether removing map by is going to make any difference. Okay? All right. So in terms of creating a foreign key column, so here we have a many. So basically the way we are going to create the foreign key column is something like this. So JPA automatically creates custom _CID foreign key column for mapping, and basically the way it construct is, it will take the field name CUST, and then it will take the primary key field of the inverse owner. So that is how it constructs the custom _CID foreign key column. Okay, and if you don't like again this foreign key column, you can always use a join column or join columns for composite foreign keys. So we have seen example of join column in one-to-one case already, right? So join column is basically used to specify custom column name for the foreign key. Okay, so map by, as I said before, map by is used to specify the reverse ownership. Okay, so inverse side, inverse or reverse side, the bidirectional relationship, or the one-to-one relationship and things like that. Okay. And map by, you have to actually specify the name of the, in this case, the owner field. So in this case, cust, and that should be the same as this guy. Okay, join column again is used to specify custom foreign key column name. So here we are going to use my _cust_id as a foreign key column name. Otherwise, the foreign key column name is going to be automatically constructed by JPA. Okay, so we're going to do exercise 2. So here again we are going to let's take a look at the one-to-many relation. So one-to-many relationship. So if you see, we're going to actually try to two unidirectional, the first two, 11 and 12, and then 13, 14, 15, 6 those are bidirectional. And between 11 and 12, the difference is one is not using annotation. So in this case, because you are not using annotation, it will use join table. Because you are not using annotation, you cannot do any cascading. So it will have a no cascading behavior. The second one is we are using annotation, but it's using join table, and then it's using cascading. So we, since we are using annotation, we can specify cascading all the attribute. The next one is bidirectional. It doesn't use annotation, so it's join table and no cascading. And this one is using annotation, still using join table and cascading. And this one is annotation, join table, custom. So here we are using special custom foreign key name. Yeah, so we're gonna actually have a different foreign key column name, I would say. And the last one is actually using foreign key based one-to-many relationship rather than join table. Okay. So let's run JPA number 11 first. So JPA number 11, and let's run it. Run as and Java application and main package. Okay, so you can see we have it's using join table. So you can see this is the customer order table. So customer ID and orders order ID. So this is the join table. Then we have customer table and order table. Okay, so you can see customer 1. So we have customer has order 1 and 2. So customer 1 has order number 1 and 2. Customer 2 has order number 3. Okay, so this is a case that we are actually using join table as a default. So let's take a look at the code. So here we are not using any annotation. Okay, what that means is basically when a particular class has a list of something, it automatically will make it one-to-many relationship as expected, right? Okay, so here customer has a list of orders. Okay. And here order does not have any so the customer is this is one-to-many anyway, so but it doesn't have any customer field, so this is unidirectional. This is commented out. Okay. Okay, so that is basically what happens. So here again, when you do create test data, it's not using cascading, meaning you have to persist not only customer object but all the order object as well. So let's take a look at the create test data here. If you take a look at the create test data, so here you actually the persisting orders as well as customers. Okay, now if you take a look at the main method here, so we created test data and then we are basically get a customer and then navigate from customer to his orders. So we we perform find operation, we have a customer, and then we call get orders and we get all the orders. Okay, so we should be able to get all the orders for a particular customer, but this code cannot be done because we don't have a way of from the order object we don't have get customer method. Okay, so this is unidirectional. Okay, so moving forward, and the next one is unidirectional, and it's still using join table, but we are using annotation to specify cascade. Okay, so if you run it 12, it probably has the same result. Okay, so it has the same result. Okay, we are still using join table, but the coding difference is we specify cascade all attribute by using annotation. We say one-to-many and cascade is all. Okay, again this is unidirectional, and from the order we cannot go to the customer. Okay, all right, so now here we create the test data. Test data, we do not have to persist the order object ourselves anymore, because when the customer object is persisted, order object will be automatically persist. So let's take a look at create test data example here. So that is create test data here. So here, we don't have to persist the order object ourselves, because when customer object, so when the customer objects are persist, all the order object that belong to this customer will be automatically persisted. Okay. All right. So that is the create test data, and here we basically again navigate from the customer to the orders, and then we cannot get from the order, we cannot get to the customer. Okay. Okay. So that is unidirectional, but using cascade. The next one is now we are doing bidirectional. we are not going to use any annotation, so we still use join table. Again, it's not providing any cascading feature. So let's actually take a look at 13. Let's run 13 Java application and main my package. Okay. And this is probably working pretty much the same. So here we have customer and we have order table, and oh, look at this. We have actually customer ID, customer 1 ID 111. Okay, so we have a join table, and we also have, in fact, the some kind of foreign key field in order table. Okay. Oh, so that is the reason we have. In fact, when we're actually using, this is 13 bidirectional no notation join table. So it still has a join table. This one is bidirectional no notation join table, no cascade. Yeah, so it does have create the join table, but it also create this foreign key field. So in order table as well. So now let's so we don't have any one-to-many. So if you take a look at, we are not using any the annotations. Okay, and now here we are not using annotation, and but it's bidirectional, and we have a way to get to the customer. Okay, yeah. So this is actually kind of not desirable behavior. If you see, we have order table. I mean, we have a join table, and we also have kind of foreign key field in the order. Okay, in the bidirectional case. Okay. Let's actually take a look at the next one. Next one is bidirectional annotation join table cascade. So I think it probably has the same behavior, but in this case, we can cascade the persistency. So when you create the test data, we don't have to actually persist it. So that's basically 2.14. But in terms of the end result, is probably the same as 13. Okay, so yeah, same behavior. So we still have the customer ID field here in the order table. Okay, so the next one is join table. So here we can specify the join table, join table columns and join table join table name and join table column name, so we can actually customize it, right? So that is 15. So let's actually see, run as Java application and my package. Okay, so same deal. Okay, so you have a join table, but we have custom table name, my join table, my custom ID, and my order ID. Okay, so let's see how we can actually specify the so here when list of orders here, we specify join table, and the name of the table is going to be my join table, and the column names is going to be my custom ID and my order ID. Okay, so let's just change custom table name. So here my join table and the Sang, and here my custom ID. I'm gonna just use my first name at the end, and same thing with my name like this, and save the change, and let's run it. Run as in Java application and my package, and it will have a different join table. Oh, looks like I have encountered column syntax error. Oh, so why it has a syntax error? Oh, maybe I should not have the dash. Okay, so dash. Yeah, so let's underscore. Okay, so let's run it again. Run as Java application. My join table. Oh, I see. So yeah, it's actually, yeah. So in my case, yeah, I cannot actually change this one because in my main method, if you take a look at my main method, I'm actually, playing around with the, customer table, order table, by join table. So here, if I want to do something like this, my join table sang, something like this, and I should be my customer ID like a sang. Okay, so let's see whether that will work. Okay, that works. So now it has a different name. My join table sang, my custom ID sang, my custom ID sang, or something like that. Okay. All right. So the last one is basically now using foreign key, and I would say the foreign key scheme is probably most common, right? So here, one-to-many bidirectional, and I'm using annotation. Then I'm actually using foreign key scheme in the table. So in order to use a foreign key scheme on the database table, you have to actually use annotation. So you can see it's actually using foreign key column. So let's actually run this 16. Run as and Java application and my package. Oops. Oh yeah, that duplication key thing. So again, you're gonna actually go to refresh the table and just remove these guys. Yeah, the reason is because when we create some kind of relationship in the table, you cannot actually delete everything. When you try to actually change it, there is some conflict. So in this case, when I delete all the files, then you can actually create from scratch. So that's the reason it's going to work this time. And my package, and now, yeah, so here we are using foreign key column. Okay, so here, this is the foreign key column in the order table. All right. So let's take a look at the code. Here we have used one-to-many, okay? And then, when you specify mapped by, basically what you're saying is that I'm using, in fact, the foreign key column-based scheme, okay? Because mapped by is indicating this is a reverse owner, okay? And that is actually in the customer side, one-to-many, and order side, many-to-one. This is a site that contains the foreign key column. So we specify many-to-one and foreign key column, okay? All right, so that's the way it works. And I said I wanted to try things out without specifying map by in the map by in the reverse owner side. So see what kind of result we get. So here, this is a customer. And so here now is set as mapped by, which indicates that this is in fact the reverse owner. And so let's say we are going to comment this guy out and see what happens. Okay, and save the change, and let's run as and Java application and my package. Oh, okay, so it works the same. Yeah, so that's what I expected, because when you do many-to-one, and that actually indicates to the system that is the one that is a foreign key column, and even though so the other side has to be reverse owner, and so this one, the map by has in fact the no impact in terms of creating a foreign key column like this. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys again another 10 to 15 minutes and play around with the one-to-many relationship. Okay? Let's